Hello, you're very welcome to another episode of The Filum Show. I'm Mike Sheridan, and I'm joined as always by Dima Lumby and Brian Lloyd. Already with the defensive pose. He's already defensive. He's like happy to be here. She's got her news, really good stories this week, I think. She's got films she liked. And like she's like, let's talk. And Brian's like, what are you going to say about me? What are you going to say?
Oh,
I
almost feel sad for you.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Because I have to say, sorry for interrupting you, Brian.
No, go ahead.
I have to say, because Joe gave out to me last week for taking piss out of you too much, right?
Sure.
So I do feel it's apt, producer Dave. You might help me with this. That first of all, basically I've been doing a show called Midday Minute. We started doing it, which is a direct-to-camera auto cue show that's a minute long for social media and for some of the wide-eye platforms, right?
Okay.
So what do you mean? Okay, you know this.
I know it is.
I'm just saying. First of all, let's play. Can we play 10 seconds of that? Play 10 seconds or so of the first Midday Minute. Fresh from winning an Oscar for a film where a woman fell in love with a fish. Yep, that happened. Guillermo del Toro is now moving to Netflix. The Mexican director will produce and direct some episodes of 10 Past Midnight, which is described as a horror spin-off of Black Mirror, because evidently that show wasn't dark enough. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. It's fairly kind of basic enough content. I came in here into the studio last week, and Brian Lloyd there, who I'm apparently mean to, was doing this. Let's play a few seconds of what Brian was doing.
Described as a horror spin-off of Black Mirror. Where's my fucking glass? Because the show isn't dark enough, apparently. Could I get some Coke Zero in here? Expect that one of your dreams early next year will haunt. We thought we'd leave you with this one. Yeah, I'm going to do a few push-ups. One of you.
So, I mean,
it's a really
good impression. it's a really. I was like, do I sound like somewhere between Keith Duffy and Colin Farrell? Is that
a little bit, yeah.
Is that literally? And I mean, we probably didn't show it there, but you do a lot of push-ups.
Yeah.
You even got a Lucas 8-0. You got a prop.
I did, yeah. I got the prop and everything.
You got the prop, but you went right through it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I got it was a cold reading of it, so I was just trying to keep it kind of going,
It was a tad exaggerated, but I suppose that's the idea of it.
That was
a tad
the idea of it.
exaggerated. Thank you, Deirdre.
I will say though, I wanted to get my shirt as tight as possible. I was trying to constantly trying to get it.
Here we go with the fat shaming again.
It's not fat shaming. You wear tight tops. Like you wear
this
tight
top
tops.
isn't that tight.
It's not. I'm saying that isn't. That's the first normal size top you're worn in months, literally. So
I don't know. I think we could go back to last week's show and see me wearing a relatively loose top. Can we show a screen grab?
I don't know. Whatever. The point is just that you wear a lot of them, and it was kind of. Listen, you take the piss out of me all the time.
I can take it though,
and so can I. So I was giving it back,
I don't know. You start kind of like.
Well, it was just I've literally got an actual stopwatch with me, just in case. I'm just timing it until you start slagging me, and we're at 2 minutes 50, and you haven't slagged me yet.
Well, to be fair, we played you abusing me, you slagging me.
Yeah,
and I filmed that.
Sure,
I did film it, so I can laugh at myself. LOL.
I can laugh at myself as well.
I did see Deirdre falling around the place laughing.
Yeah,
it was really.
You really cute. I'm telling you, I think if Lauren Michaels or somebody's watching this, they're gonna be like.
Yeah, I think you could do this. Yeah, I think you could do this.
I think your talents are wasted here, Brian.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe they are. All right, maybe they are. Okay.
We're
at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay.
You're just gonna give us random updates.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep at it.
You're just gonna keep random.
As soon as you start slagging me, then I'm gonna push the button, and then we'll have we'll start the show.
Don't make me say it.
It's a shame it's not one of those things that you can kind of hit the little points.
Oh no, I can. Yeah, I can actually. I can do split and reset on that. Yeah.
You already told me. You told me my clothes are too tight. You did an impression of me so far, but you haven't pointed that out in your timer.
No. It's me.
We should just get
you
slagging me.
We should
just get D to ref. These
yeah, actually, do you want to actually take this then? Actually, yeah, you just. Tap
I wonder what the difference is between what I judge as making fun of you.
Well, there you go. Actually, there you go. You could be the impartial advisor.
No, well, because they can push the old boundaries as well.
True.
There,
True.
Yeah. You're like,
no.
He's like, don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you think you're all so sweet and innocent, and it's not the case at all.
See, now he's insulted you as well. So we've both been insulted so early doors.
Well, this is unusual. Oh my God, are we actually going to talk about movies?
We've got loads of stuff to talk about.
No. Come on. We're nearly 5 minutes in, and I know because I'm looking at the timer. How about we start with the film show?
Yeah, right.
Right.
So let's talk about some films.
Okay.
You went over to London and you talked to some of the guys involved in Solo.
Yes, I did.
How did you go on? Did you manage to keep your hands to yourself?
I did.
Not hug anybody?
No.
You know, not touch out with the Star Wars stuff?
No.
Did you get a hug off Chewbacca, actually?
No, actually, that's the thing.
Did you see
right?
Sean Monsanto got a hug off Chewbacca?
Yes, right. So basically what happened was when we were in the hotel thing, and you know, there's obviously a lot of outlets there and stuff like that, and everyone's doing all their interviews, and it's always very kind of like you've done them enough times, and you've done them enough times. It's a case of you go in and like you've got a short amount of time, you've got to get everything done. And the Disney rep was there, and she said, "Look, listen, if you want, we can get you some time with Chewbacca. There's a guy down at the end of the hallway there. You go into this room, and it's basically there'll be a guy there in a full-blown actual movie-used Chewbacca outfit. You can do like 5 minutes of video with him. You can get a picture taken."
Similar to
You did
what
the
you did
R2D2
with-
that was
exactly
R2D2,
funny.
yeah.
And I was like, 100%, yes. Get me in the room with Chewbacca. That's just, I got to do it. Just please get me in the room with the guy. And they were like, yeah, okay, yeah, grand. And I was like, is it the actual real Jonas Sudermo, I think is the guy's name. He's this Finnish actor, and he's like
super tall.
yeah, like 6'7" and all this kind of stuff. But it never happened.
Never happened. When
Never happened. I don't know. It just didn't. Like just because like we
Too
were
tight for time or
too
whatever.
too tight for time. We had a load of interviews. Like we had like Ron Howard, we had Alden Ehrenreich, we had Woody Harrelson and Tandy Newton, and we had Amelia Clark. So we had to like get.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
pretty cool
brilliant,
lineup. Yeah, so we had to get them all in, and just didn't have time for.
Woody
Chewbacca.
Harrelson as cool as you think he is.
Yes.
He's very cool, isn't he?
He was barefoot. You'll actually see it in the interview. We talked about the fact that he was barefoot whilst Tandy Newton was wearing these lovely shoes that were... Actually, it was weird. 2 interviews ended up talking about people's feet and shoes. Started off the whole thing. Yeah, it was weird because like Alden Ehrenreich... No, this is true. And you'll see it in the interviews. Alden Ehrenreich, I was asking him about the boots that he wore because he was commenting on my runners. And I said, your runners are really cool. He said to me, your runners are really cool. I was like, yeah, they're really
Were you
cool.
like to be friends now?
Kind of. If
You
I
friends with Han Solo?
that would be just the best. I'll tell you what, though. Here's another point as well, actually, right? Just to go off on another, because we're completely digressing now. Gold chains for men, I think, are coming back.
No.
I think they are.
No.
Because he was wearing one.
Rings and chains and jewelry on men.
I'm not. No,
into
I
it.
see this.
Not
Yeah,
into it.
I'm not into jewelry either. I don't know how you feel about jewelry. How do you feel about jewelry?
I think the bracelets are more acceptable than necklaces anyway. Yeah.
Do you know what? I can have a huge amount of respect for an actor, athlete, whatever it is. I'm a big fan of that person. Then I see them wearing a pinky ring, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Pinky rings are disgusting on men.
Yeah, unless you're like, I don't know, 50 years old, 60, 70
You've got
years
like,
old.
the shirt up and the hair and the hair.
No. Because like I mean, I know it's a thing with like English aristocrats and stuff like that. They have like the signet ring and stuff like that. Yeah, it is.
Like the Stonecutters.
Well, like, yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, but like they have like that's who I would see. Anyone unless you have a title, you shouldn't be wearing a signet.
For a point, you're the Baron of
Yeah,
whatever.
Baron of such and such. If
Yeah.
you don't have a title, you don't get to wear a big.
Before we move on to Solo, really enjoyed your royal wedding coverage on entertainment.ie over the weekend, Brian. Great stuff. Okay, look, let's talk about Solo. The junkets are up
Did
on
you
site.
tap that thing by the way?
The junkets
wasn't
are up
making
on site
fun
now.
of
The
you.
interviews are up on site.
I imagine so. Yeah,
They will be
they
up on site,
they'll
yeah.
be up on site. Yeah. They
We're
are up on
recording this
site.
earlier in the week, so the interviews will be up on site. I'm sure Charlotte will get them. Okay, so
Yes.
let's talk Solo. Me and Dee weren't really. We watched the trailer for this and we've spoken about it before in
Yeah.
the pod. Where we're not massive Star Wars fans. I mean, the good film's a good film.
Yeah.
But,
and I've seen them all. Like,
Yeah,
watched
but,
them.
like
Yeah,
they're fine.
Yeah.
Like so this is casual kind of like yeah. You're a massive Star Wars fan.
I am.
And we kind of alluded to it last week. You'd literally just come out of screening.
Yeah.
And so you're still trying to, digest
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
and see
sure,
it.
yeah.
So like a week or so later, how do you feel about the film?
Yeah, I mean, like it's
You gave it 3.5 stars, which honestly, I think it's probably the
is.
lowest rating you've ever given a Star Wars movie.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because like I mean, Force Awakens, I absolutely 100. I just loved it.
Yeah,
This is
that's a
very
great
crack.
one,
That's
yeah.
the
And
best one, I think.
Yeah, and I was like 5 stars, not a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely 100%. Rogue One, I think I really liked a lot of it. I loved the fact that they did something completely different with it. That the fact that they made it really violent and grimy and just really not what I expected at all from it. And
I fell asleep during it.
Did you? Okay, well I gave it
It
4.5.
drags.
Really?
Yeah, it drags.
All right. Well, I really liked Rogue One. I gave that 4.5, and then the last Jedi, I went in and I gave it 4 stars. And
Yeah, but I read that review and it was the most offensive review of yours I've ever read.
offensive,
No, defensive.
defensive. Yeah,
It was
completely.
very defensive.
Yeah,
Last
because
Jedi.
It's kind of like you almost knew that.
there was going to be backlash. Yeah, and to be
And
fair,
there was.
there was. Like,
Yeah.
There was backlash from the hardcore Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
There wasn't backlash from like people just want to see like Ryan Johnson's, take on
Sure, yeah.
people are interested in his.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was it. Like, when I was writing The Last Jedi, it was like, right, okay, I can see why people who have loved Star Wars for years will hate this. And I'm not saying they're not wrong, but this is something that is needed for it to stay kind of vital and new and different. They have to kind of completely subvert what people expect of it, that sort of way. And when that was on my mind when I went in to watch Solo, because I felt like as I was watching Solo, to me, it really felt like they were trying to appease everyone that they annoyed with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and do you think that's what happened with because obviously the co-directors left, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They left, and they were apparently making a comedy. Yeah. So that's why you interviewed Ron Howard. Ron Howard came back and reshot it, over 50% of it.
Well over, like 70% is the figure. Now, you'll see it in the interview, when I asked him about it, like the first question I literally asked him was, when you were coming into this, was it a case of, were you just trying to get this over the line? Or did you have the ability to kind of put your own creative stamp on? And he was very honest about it. You'll see it in
Ron Howard just seems like the nicest man.
Yeah, he was.
He's made some great films.
Stop, like Willow and Cocoon and all that kind of stuff. But he was really honest about it. And he said, "Look, I really thought I was coming in just to do a job here, just to get this over the line. But there was enough. He felt that there was enough kind of broadness in it that he could bring his own thing to it. And I think that kind of speaks. And like, the reason why I'm bringing that up is that when I was watching this, I was like, this is absolutely everything I wanted from a Star Wars film. It's fun. It's over the top. I can see all the special effects in it. At the same time, it's really, really safe. Yeah. It's just a really,
There's
really
no real
safe
angle.
film. No, not at all. It's exactly
Rogue
just...
One had an angle.
Exactly. That's it. Rogue One had an angle. This was like, what if Star Wars was done like Saving Private Ryan and everyone's going to die at the end of it and it's going to be this really violent film. Whereas in Solo, it was just sort of like, Asher isn't a great Han Solo. What was it like when he was young? Well, he was just exactly what we expected him to be.
Look, it's all going to be tragic. His dad's going to kill, our son's going to kill him. But however,
exactly, it's all going to end up bad. But sure, isn't he having a great time at the minute? And all gas crack,
and like hoists gas.
And that was it. Like, and I was watching, I was like, oh, cool, yeah. And then I was like, oh no, because this is just boring. Well, not even boring, but just see, that's it. It's not boring. It's just, it's very predictable.
Was there a lot of pandering in it? It just strikes me as so like just doing it for the fans and all that, which annoys me.
See, that's why I would have loved to see Lord Miller's version, because like the angle that they were obviously going for and looking at the casting and everything else was that kind of wise ass, because obviously they did the 21 Jump Street movies and the Lego movies really good fun. Those guys know how to hit a beat in a comedy. And like especially for that, I mean Harrison Ford as Han Solo, like he's amazing. It's pure charisma. And like the cast there was obviously, very much mimicking Ford,
Sure, yeah.
So why didn't they just go? Why didn't they just go with the comedy? You think they were afraid to play with the format too much?
Well, no, you see, there are a couple of scenes in it that are very funny, and like you can just spot them right away.
So you think it's Lord and Miller? That's the scenes that
completely,
were left in it.
Like there are God's honest truth, I'd say there's about 3 scenes left in that entire film that were Lord and Miller's. I'd say the rest were all Ron Howard's, and those 3 scenes in it are some of the funniest in the film. And at the same time, as I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is clearly a Lord and Miller scene. This isn't a Ron Howard scene. And it's very, very funny, but it feels almost as if that was the only usable scene that they could get, if you know what I mean. Like, as in, like, it's funny, but it's probably on the lightest end of them being funny. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would bet
So do you think Lord and Miller were had the cast improvising?
Oh, completely. Yeah. They 100% did. Like, and let's not forget, the guy who wrote this was Lawrence Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan, is the guy that wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. He wrote Body Heat. He wrote Silverado. He is literally a screenwriting legend. He has done some of the most... And
his son is a big director now as well, directed the Jumanji remake.
That's Jake Kasdan. Yeah, this was the other one. John Kasdan was the other guy around it. So, like, I can imagine Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm were like, well, look, listen, we got Lawrence Kasdan literally out of retirement to write this thing. And now you're just going to ignore it and do your own thing.
Do they not? Yeah. Did you not think there's like a conversation before about what kind of film they're going to make?
I know. I would have thought that there should be.
Like, how does this keep happening in the Star Wars universe?
Well, like, to be fair, it's happened twice. Like, it's not a case of if, like,
Did your man that did Chronicle? What's his name? Landis. Did he not Landis?
Landis.
Sorry, not Max Landis. Sorry, the guy who wrote Chronicle. The guy who directed Chronicle. He did the Fantastic Four.
Oh, Josh Trank.
Josh Trank was going to direct the Star Wars. He bounced as well.
Yeah, well, they bounced him because...
Colin Trevorrow was bounced as well, and there was issues with Gareth Edwards on Rogue One.
Yeah, well, like, okay...
So it's not just twice.
Oh, no, sure. But, like, in the case of Josh Trank, it was literally... He had imploded after Fantastic Four, and all the stories got out about him on the set of Fantastic Four, and they were like, this is too important.
The Mouse House was like, no bueno, not touching that.
No bueno. Too much. No, thanks. Bye. Go. With regards to Gareth Edwards in Rogue One, I think really what the case there was that he was just Gareth Edwards was overwhelmed by the amount of work that he had to do.
They brought Tony Gilroy in.
So they brought Tony Gilroy in, and Tony Gilroy basically rewrote the entire third act, directed good chunks of it, and was basically, while Gareth Edwards was off doing the CGI work, which was incredible. I really do think some of the best CGI I've ever seen, period, was done in Rogue One. While he was doing that, Tony Gilroy was doing the stuff with the actors.
I'm trying to tell, actually, because, I don't know, for me when I was watching Rogue One, the third act almost felt like it was part of a different movie or something. There was just something kind of tonally about it. Not that it didn't work. I mean, like, it had like some really like great and really compelling and really emotional moments. Like, I love that bit where the two are like sitting on the sand. I think that's a gorgeous moment.
End,
yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. I thought Rogue One was a bit kind of all over the place.
Like Gareth Edwards' first movie is a movie called, I think it was his first movie, Monster, which is like fantastic, and it's got it's strange because he made it for very little money and it's got incredible CGI. You were alluding to how good he is with the CGI, but it's got this really lovely relationship at the centre of it. And obviously, you know, elements of that were translated to Godzilla. And I think the issue with Godzilla for me, one of the major issues was Aaron Johnson shouldn't have been in that role. Yeah. He's just, I just don't think he's a lead man. I think you look at him in Nocturnal Animals and he's great.
Yeah, and a supporting role.
It's a supporting role, and it's a role with a very specific angle, and he seems to be one of those actors that needs no, this is what you're doing right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. He could very young, he could still grow into being a lead man. Yeah. But that was my issue with that. But like, there has been issues with directors in the Star Wars universe, so
completely.
Why would anybody, why do you think anybody would, like, so let's say they come to, like, who's one of the, you know, kind of top tierish directors working today. So say Denis Villeneuve is one of the best directors working today. Yeah. Why would he take a Star Wars film? He wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, I think that at this stage, like you were saying, they've just been plagued with like kind of so many issues, and they're so like hesitant to let any kind of director come in and put their creative stamp. Like, I remember when I was talking about this like a year ago when we were talking about kind of the replacement of directors and everything. They've kind of been more willing to take risks with Marvel, but with Star Wars, they're like, just don't do everything. Just do more of the same, because that's what the fans want. And I think that that's kind of sad. And I know that you've been saying that they're kind of pushing boundaries in certain movies, but honestly, I don't think they are.
Do you think there was when it came to The Force Awakens that J.J. Abrams is J.J. Abrams, and he was kind of allowed to reinvent it? But since then they've been no, this is working. Yeah. And that's a fair point about Marvel. You know,
but I don't even think The Force Awakens was really anything new. I think it was Star Wars, but just bigger.
Newer characters.
New characters and everything. But I mean, it was, I know that a lot of people did compare it to A New Hope, and I saw a lot of comparisons with A New Hope, but I just thought it was kind of on like a bigger and more epic scale. And in fairness, like, that is what I enjoyed about it, the fact that it was bigger and more epic. But I also feel like every Star Wars movie, it's just kind of the same.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
Well, I feel like that about a lot of Marvel movies now. It's like Thor Ragnarok. And,
well, Marvel definitely has an issue with that as well.
You know,
sure.
it's like, it's not, you know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, if you don't refine and reinvent yourself, it's going to be... Okay, so where does the Star Wars franchise go after this?
That's a good question. Like, I mean, I know Dee's going to be doing a thing with...
In movie news. It'll come up. News. Yeah.
But, like, I think it's... I don't know, like, I think they're still trying to find their feet with it, quite honestly, because they've got like Jon Favreau doing a live action TV series. They have
really underrated director.
Yeah, they've David.
I watched Iron Man again actually over the weekend. So good. It's such a like solid like the way it really kicked off.
That
everything.
Was the first one.
Yeah,
that casting of Robert Downey Jr. was almost Sam Rockwell. Yeah, and that casting and Guy Pearce and that casting of Robert Downey Jr. was such a massive part of what made those movies successful, since it is multiple $billion franchise now. Jon Favreau deserves a huge amount of credit for that.
Did he do Iron Man 2 as well?
Yeah, he did Iron Man 2.
Yeah, because we watched actually both because we were just enjoying them so much. So we watched the second and we'll get to the third at some point. But
Shane Black
2 is really solid as well.
The best, I think.
Yeah, third one might be the best because we talk about angles for these franchise movies and they let Shane Black take
still
an angle.
1 and 2, you'd be surprised if you went back and watched them now. They're really, really solid. Just good, well-made superhero movies.
Robert Downey Jr. in that first one was Tony Stark. That was his chance, you know. And Shane Black had kind of taken him back from the dead, so to speak, with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And he's great in that. Hollywood took notice. Favreau had to fight to get him. Tony Stark, and he made it. He really made it.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so you like this?
I did like it, but like, I mean, what I would say
you did like it, but that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a but at the end of it. Like, I mean, it's the kind of thing of, it is very enjoyable. It really is enjoyable. Like, Alden Ehrenreich does a great job with it. Donald Glover steals every scene.
I want to talk about Donald Glover, actually. Yeah, Lando. So, because Donald Glover is the man at the moment.
Yeah.
This is America. It's like done an insane amount of views. It's an actual piece of art, that video.
Oh, no, 100%.
Like. Before we move on, what's Donald Glover like in this? Because I heard he's not in it as much as...
He's not in it as much, no. And you can kind of get the sense that they were sort of like, after they watched this film, they're like, we should have got him in more scenes. Just like you can see they're kicking themselves in it, because like they're really putting him prominent in all of the posters.
Yeah.
But like, I'll tell you right now, they would be foolish. They would be so foolish if they didn't do an origin story for Lando. And I would watch it. Like,
well, he's the man at the moment.
Oh, completely, yeah. And I would imagine they're probably going to do something like that already.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Alden Ehrenreich was very, very good in it. I think it's Harrison Ford and it's Han Solo. It's one of the most iconic characters in, movie history. It is an albatross. How do you kind of square that? How do you make that original and at the same time, line up against what has come before you? And he managed,
because that was another production problem. They had to bring in a acting coach, especially
to get him
for
right.
him. Yeah,
and it worked. Like, obviously the coach did the trick, because it feels new at the same time. You can see what kind of where it's going in terms of where the character will end up. Woody Harrelson was good in it. Tandy Newton, both good in it. Like, they were not in it for very long in it.
Yeah.
Woody
Harrelson's kind of the Benicio del Toro.
So
like, oh, he's cool, and then he's in like 3 scenes.
Yeah, he's in like 3 to 4 scenes. You're kind of like, I want to see more of him. But Donald Glover for me kind of really stole this out from Alden Ehrenreich. He was just brilliant in it. Like, he's just like, he got the character down so well that you're almost like, it's almost like watching a really young Billy D. Williams. Like, it's that good. Like, and like, it's just Donald Glover in general. Like, I want to see him do more stuff. Like, even if it is, if it is Star Wars, if it is The Lion King, if it is whatever, I just want to see more of it. Like,
I'd say it's always SNL. Saturday Night Live is always a good indicator of how talented these guys are.
Yeah.
Yes,
these people are. And like, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he did like 15 things. Yeah. He performed as well. He was a musical guest as well as the...
Yeah.
A lot of the times you'll have comedians go on and, okay, the monologues where they get to do their thing. That opening, or there'll be actors and they'll be like, oh, they'll have a scene where they get to do their thing.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of knocking it out of the park in all respects. So look, it's going to probably knock Deadpool off the top of the box office this week. It opens everything globally this week. So, which I'm not really happy about, because I love Deadpool. I thought it was really good fun.
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool did well though. Like,
it's done really well. It's done 301 million domestic, globally in its first 3 days, which is great, and it's all rated on it. Again, let's go back to that thing. Angle. It has an angle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
then Deadpool 2 might kind of come out on top in certain markets. There isn't that kind of Star Wars hype maybe everywhere.
Oh,
and
sure,
I mean, there is. I think that a lot of people are feeling kind of about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars films, isn't there now? There was one at Christmas.
That was The Last Jedi at Christmas. Yeah.
So is J.J. Abrams doing another one?
Yeah, he's doing episode 9.
And Ryan Johnson is doing more.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson is getting his own trilogy to do whatever he wants with it. So.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. I think it's taken them.
And as a TV series you mentioned with Favreau.
And a live action TV. Like, I think the kind of thing of like with Star Wars is that they are trying to find their feet with it in the same way that they did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because that's what they want. They want this to just run indefinitely. Like, and it has the potential to do that. But they need to find something more, like what they did with Thor Ragnarok, like what they did with Logan, like what we did with any of these come out with
Logan's a great example.
Yeah.
They need to find a niche. They need to find a different take on it.
And a studio that will allow them to do it. Like, because James Mangold and Hugh Jackman had for Logan, they're like, this is what we want to do with this character. And I mean, Logan, it's tough to argue it being the best comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's up there with The Dark Knight for me. Like, in terms of impact and what they did with the character. And, like, it's a really great film.
Yeah.
And you can see how James Mangold might have been like, look, the Wolverine isn't me as a director in this franchise. Logan is, and you got an opportunity to make it. So I think that's a fair point, but the studios need to let them do it.
Yeah, and I think as well as
not if it's Josh Trank, but if it's somebody else,
but like, I mean, with like J.J. Abrams, for example, like, he's basically positioning himself as sort of like the next Spielberg. Like, you look at Super 8 and it's basically just
Super 8's really good fun though.
Yeah, but it's really good fun. But I'm saying, like, in the sense of like, the films that J.J. Abrams does are very crowd pleasing, are very much broad entertainment.
Isn't that what Spielberg would have done though? He would have went and made a serious one. He would have went and made The Color of Purple or Schindler's List or
I think
Amistad.
in terms of like genre and stuff, like J.J. Abrams hasn't really branched out much from science fiction, has he? You know,
Mission Impossible 3 was his first film, but even then that's action. Like, that's it's not a million miles away.
Yeah,
and that was very James Cameron. Like that whole film. Like it's a really good film. Mission Impossible 3 is a really good film.
Oh, it's such a great series. Like I'm genuinely looking forward to the next one because every film that I've watched of that series I've just enjoyed.
Yeah,
you know,
they're really enjoyable.
They're silly, but they're fun. You know,
they're really enjoyable action movies.
Sounds right up my street.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're
I don't
really
want to be engaged
enjoyable.
intellectually. Just show me the things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I want to see him like run off a building. Like I want to see him like try to fly a helicopter.
Break his ankle. Break your
I
ankle.
want to see Henry Cavill's mustache. Like, you know what I mean?
I like that sequence in the trailer where Henry Cavill having a knock. He's having a scrap in the jacks with some lad.
yeah.
But did you not think though?
Oh
right?
yeah, the GIF.
Like,
That's everywhere
the thing
now.
I've always kind of wondered, right? And you can, because you do this stuff, right? Why would he throw out his shoulders before he's about to start
Just
punching?
loosen up.
Is that it?
Yeah, just trying to loosen up.
Because the way he does it.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Well,
like
Henry Cavill's not a fighter. I think he does jiu-jitsu, but like everybody in Bleeding Hollywood does jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but what I'm
I
saying,
think he did it because it looks cool.
it does
Brian.
look cool.
look
Like
cool.
that's it. When I see it coming,
Well,
it
point
looks
out that
cool.
Christopher McQuarrie directed the last two Mission Impossible movies. This one, very good director.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first movie, did you meet him? I think you might have been.
No, it was
Serena.
Spider. Oh crap! What was his name again?
Jack
Edward
Reacher.
Zwick.
For Jack Reacher.
Edward
He
Zwick.
directed the second Jack
Zwick.
Reacher.
Yes, Ed Zwick.
Ed Zwick.
Ed
Thank
Zwick
you.
did the second
Yes.
one. Sorry, he did the first one. But Chris McQuarrie directed a movie called The Way of the Gun.
Yeah.
I think it was 2000, 2001 with Ryan Phillippe and Benicio del Toro. And it's so realistic. Like you had like a weapons experts on set and everything, because these two guys are kind of two kind of high-end hoodlums. And they were kind of ex-army or ex-navy, and just it's one we should absolutely revisit as well. I think I really want to watch it again. But it's just, you get the impression like, oh, holy shit, they did the research here.
Yeah.
You know, so he's obviously a director. Well, maybe not for Mission Impossible, but he's obviously a director who at one point will go, right, this needs to be realistic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dee, let's move on to something completely different. This was an Irish Oscar nominee.
Yeah, it is. So it was nominated for Best Animated Movie. Didn't win, unfortunately.
We do well
but
there, though, don't we,
Yeah,
Ireland?
yeah. So this is called The Breadwinner, and it's an amazing, amazing little movie. I think that everyone should go see this. Everyone should, because it's so interesting, you know, in these times, like what it has to say about, you know, women's rights and children's rights, and just like it's similar to what I was saying about A Cambodian Spring a couple of weeks ago, just seeing what's going on the other side of the world.
What's it about?
So it's about this young girl and her family struggling during the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. So it's actually set in the year 2001, and basically her father gets taken away and she has to cut her hair and pretend to be a boy in order to actually just buy groceries for her family.
Jesus
because
Christ,
they
this is a
won't.
cartoon.
This is a cartoon, yes, because they won't serve women. They don't like speak to women or anything. The women have to go around with the big, you know, burqa on and everything, which like completely covers them up. And it's just like crazy when you think about this, but it's so well done. The animation in it is so beautiful. It's such a like kind of, it's told in such a kind of simple, comprehensive way that both like children can understand it as well as adults. And like I said, it's just amazing.
That's
in
really
terms
smart.
of like, and starting these like conversations and stuff. Now, there are some quite like brutal moments in it. Like at one point, her mum goes off just trying to find out like where the father is, like what prison he went to. And there's this guy that finds her and says, you shouldn't be out of the house, and like kind of beats her up a bit. And it's like, it's quite challenging to watch.
What's the rating for this?
It's 12A, which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of the violence is kind of like implied as opposed to it actually
Sometimes
happens.
that's worse. But
Yeah.
I mean, and it's obviously, you know, it's got a conscience. Very much so sounds like it has a conscience. And Nora Twomey, I know you caught up with her as well for On the Line.
That's right. Yeah. So it was really cool. Nora Twomey, who is just, she's just the sweetest. But she was talking to me. We talked about Cartoon Saloon because they've done some amazing work. Obviously, both their feature films.
Shitload of Oscars.
Yeah. So they're basically all three of their feature films that they've made so far have been nominated for Oscars.
That's some batting average, isn't it? When
Yeah.
you think of it, they're basic Kilkenny like.
Yeah. She said actually she was feeling the pressure with The Breadwinner because the previous two were nominated. So those were Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea. Song of the Sea for me.
Song of the Sea.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite.
But this is kind of because those two movies are Irish based, right? So this one is obviously completely different in some regards.
Exactly, because it's like set in Afghanistan, and it was a co-production with like I think Belgium and Luxembourg and a couple of other countries. And actually, Angelina Jolie was an executive producer on it, which is amazing as well.
I'm sure she helped get some funding for that.
Yeah, she helped with the funding, and then she helped with kind of casting decisions and stuff like that, because they wanted to make sure that it was still like authentic and everything. And I actually talked to her a bit about like the target audience as well, because I was like, well, there are bits in this where you think like, can kids actually watch this? And she was like, you know, you'd always be surprised because like she was saying how her children had kind of seen it, and I think adults are always more afraid than children actually get. Like kids tend to get like really creeped out by like supernatural things or things they don't understand, but the whole idea of this film is that you do see it through the little girl's eyes, so you kind of relate to her. And I just thought it was incredible. A brilliant movie, so well done. And I think it just comes in at like just under an hour and a half, and yet there's so much content in it, so many layers. Everyone go see this.
So
movie.
This is something that obviously you left the cinema and it took you a while to kind of.
I went to see for a second time over the weekend because I enjoyed it so much, and I brought my dad and sister and her friend as well, and we went to lunch afterwards, and we were just chatting about it the whole time.
You always do the family outings for the cinema. It's
I
really
know,
nice.
I love the family
it's really it's very kind of.
Anytime we see Brian in the cinema, he's on his own.
Okay, right.
It's true though, isn't it?
It is true, but like, the thing of it is that like, anytime I go to a premiere and stuff like that, right, more often than not, if I invite my girlfriend, she's like, you're just going to work. I'm literally watching you work.
Yeah.
And then when I walk out of the cinema, I'm like
avoiding people.
Avoiding people, number one.
I'm like, we're sitting on the aisle and I'm making a run.
Yeah, or I'm like trying to like
process it
out of my head, and I'm bouncing it off her, and she's like, God, I don't care. I just saw
I just want popcorn.
Yeah. Her whole thing is can I bring popcorn? Can I get food? And I'm like, yeah, you can, but don't eat it near me because I'm trying to watch this and kind of pay attention. I just forget. Like if I'm watching,
I don't mind popcorn. Like I'll have popcorn in one hand, writing in the other.
Oh no, see, I can't do that shit at all. Like I need to. Like it's hard enough for me to pay attention.
Have you ever gotten popcorn on a press screening, D? The
looks.
The looks.
Oh, the looks. It's worth doing just for that.
But like, okay. Well,
in
like,
fairness, though, for press screenings, I think that food is a no-no. I don't think I've ever seen
the worst. I mean, this is.
I think the only food I've ever had at a press screen, and it was because I was desperately hungry, and it was a yogurt, so it wouldn't make noise.
Sure, yeah. No, normally I'm just like shoving a sandwich into me before the thing starts. But I remember this.
Nothing that crunches.
Nothing that crunches. No. If it's a sandwich, it's fine. There is a story though, and this is. Honest to God, this is true. I can ask any working film critic in Ireland and they will tell you this story.
Working.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people calling themselves film critics.
Yeah. So, and it was at a screening, and I think it was in the IFI. Film starts, credits roll, everyone's kind of settling down and kind of thing. Some lads are getting out their papers, some women are just doing whatever. Somebody whips out a laptop.
I hate that.
And then just starts typing away their notes into the thing. And everyone's just like...
I do remember you telling me about that. Yeah. That was fairly recent.
That was very recent. Everyone's just like... Are you for real? And like, your one was like typing away, and it was like, okay, somebody needs to say something here. Somebody needs to just be like, okay, can you please stop?
They've no problem saying stuff.
No, they don't. But this is like, it was after 5 minutes. Somebody was just like, turn it off now, kind of thing. But like,
you could be taping the movie. Like it could be.
But who opens a laptop?
No, but that's what I mean. Like it could be something, you know, for all, I'm sure they weren't, but for all intents and purposes.
Like, I understood that they were taking notes, and maybe they were a newbie. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But basically, you have two options, and that is to either sit there and remember everything, or like me, just write on a notebook in the dark and learn how to write. Like in the dark. That's all you can do.
Get a little light on your pen, little light on your pen.
I don't do that.
No, you're not allowed to do that. But it's so funny because like I look back over like old notes compared to new ones.
It's like shorthand.
Yeah, but I've actually improved over the years. It's nice.
So who's in charge like at these things, right? So it's like, what critic is like the boss that comes over and is like, put that away? I'd be like,
no, it's more of a kind of collective.
Oh, so it's like a mob mentality.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, literally.
It is though.
It just descends.
Everybody's like,
yeah, it just descends. It's like, get him.
No, it is very annoying when people talk in the cinema. But then you get used to the press screenings and nobody talking, and you go to the actual cinema and you're like,
I hate this.
It's like there's too much noise. You're like the monsters in A Quiet Place.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I ever go to have to go to a premiere, I'm like, there's too many people here. Get out. I need to concentrate. Like, that's
everybody get out.
It depends. It depends on the movie though, because I don't mind people getting a bit more like chatty and excited. Yeah. Exactly, during a comedy.
Yeah.
I once went to a screening of Room, like it's in Brie Larson Room, and there were two biddies in front of me who would not shut the fuck up.
Really?
I was so annoyed. Like maybe it was their kind of catch up or whatever, but then leave the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and have your chats outside. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, no, it's true because I saw 3 billboards in in our minds in Omniplex. And literally, I was like...
I like that cinema a lot.
Yeah, I do too. We went in, sat down, and then just right over there was two women doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Having a full-blown conversation in the middle of a film. Like, okay, fine, you don't like the film, that's grand. I can understand that. Why are you ruining it for everybody else?
Yeah.
Like, why are you ruining it for everybody else? And like, again, it was the same thing of like, is everybody seeing this shit?
I was at a screening in Cineworld back when it was decent years ago. I've been in there in a while, to be fair. Of The Tree of Life. Do you remember that was the Terrence Malick movie with Brad Pitt?
I actually saw that as part of the IFI. You know how they do their free screenings, their open day, and that was voted the film of the secret screening.
I really liked it, right? But so there's obviously somebody.
Even the dinosaurs bit.
Yeah,
that
at
was
the start
a bit,
it was a little bit too abstract, but
yeah.
I got what he was trying to do with it, elements of it, and I liked it a lot. I think Ty Sheridan's going to be a superstar now. We're seeing him
brilliant.
Sure,
Yeah.
and Ready Player One and stuff. But for the whole film, like for about 20 minutes at the start of the film, like because obviously, like you said, it goes dinosaurs, abstract, family, strange, deep, meaningful, whatever, you know. And there's this man behind me, and all I hear is, like loudly, like disagreeing with the essence of the film.
Yeah. And
at about the 25 minute mark, he was a large Asian man, and he grew up and he went, "What a pile of clap," and he just walked off. True story. Everybody was just pissing themselves laughing. Like
It's just like, why you...
he's like, but he felt like he needed to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, why are you insisting your opinion on
But it's when
everybody?
you
At least he wasn't chatting all through it.
Yeah.
He could have just been making like
I
comments,
know,
which
but,
I've been
like-
at screenings of, and it's the worst.
Yeah, do you know? And that is actually something as well where, like, you'll get critics that like throw their eyes up at the like kind of overtly commercial movies that do. You know, I went to the screening of The Hangover, nobody laughed, and everybody gave it 4 stars. I'm like, how do you think it's good if you're not laughing? I was laughing.
Yeah.
It made me laugh, you know?
Yeah, I think I was the only one at the press screening of Sisters who laughed.
I laughed. I remember Sisters, yeah. Actually, I know, because, I remember, I thought
Okay,
Sisters
maybe we
was-
were at opposite sides of the cinema.
You weren't even working for us at that stage.
No.
Yeah,
This was for, I wrote it for Film Ireland.
You're one of those people he frowned down upon. He was like, who are you? I just don't know who you are. No!
Don't look right at me. Just don't look. Don't make eye contact. Don't keep eye contact.
But they're probably like, oh my God, it's Brian Lloyd. It's my Brian Lloyd. From television and radio and entertainment.ie. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
exactly it.
let's talk some movie news.
Movie news. They actually did do it last week.
Did they?
I was doing my dance, doing a little music over it.
Did they? Brilliant.
The timing was perfect.
God bless you, Charlotte Reed.
Thank you, Charlotte. Okay, so movie news. So this is more of a kind of confirmation type of news, but I wanted to talk about it anyway because I loved the first movie of It. So I think that the news about it, the remake, that is. I really loved it. And it was at a time where I was kind of just easing myself back into horror. So so it had an emotional connection for me. So It Chapter 2 has confirmed its adult losers. So James McAvoy, Bill Hader and Jessica Chastain, they were kind of like rumoured before, but now they're officially confirmed. And then there have also been 2 more additions in Andy Bean, who people would know from, well, I wouldn't know, but other people might know. I haven't heard of these shows. Here and Now and Power. And then James Ranson from The Wire have also boarded. And then kind of the regulars are back. We know Bill Skarsgård is back. Andy Muschietti is back as director. Muschietti. And it's due to hit Irish cinemas on September 6th, 2019. So are we excited, guys?
I'm
excited.
I am.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. The opening of it, like obviously people said you've talked about this, so it's like when that film opens and that opening sequence ends, you're like, oh, so this can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So this can literally go anywhere. They just ripped the small child's arm off.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that,
And
like,
ate him.
when you look at the trailer and then you saw the movie, they completely, like, changed, like, endings to
angle.
scenes and angles and shots and what actually happens and stuff. Like, it's totally, like, anything goes.
It's a really great horror film.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm delighted it did so well, actually. I love the casting.
Yeah.
Because Muschietti had worked with Jessica Chastain before on Mother, Mama. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a completely different film. So she was rumored for a while, Brian, because
completely.
she has red hair.
Yeah,
But also because people were saying, like, and it's true, the little girl is like the spits of her. Although she looks more like young Amy Adams, I think.
Yeah,
but
to
she
be
looks
fair.
quite like Jessica Chastain.
Like, the fact that like Jessica Chastain worked with Andy Muschietti before, and the fact that she's got red hair, like it just seemed like a natural.
And she's a great actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And Bill Hader and James McAvoy, those are two great choices.
I want to see them two and see. It's like
Yeah,
imagine
that'd
them
be
two and see
great,
together
yeah.
play off each other really well.
And like Bill Hader as well, doing something serious as well.
Well,
like
the show Barry's quite serious.
Yeah,
isn't it?
but like Skeleton Twins as well is quite serious.
Great film. Have you
Great.
seen Skeleton Twins, Steve?
I haven't.
Oh,
No,
you
I've
get
heard
on that.
such good
You'll
things.
love it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a great film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really good. So him doing something that is overtly serious like this,
But
I think is going to be cool.
But I feel like he's going to be like one of those actors that kind of has like, he just takes you by surprise with like these really kind of funny lines or something, even though he's serious most of the time. Like Bill Hader is great
He's
at
famous,
that.
so his
in
character's
fairness.
like a DJ, he's like a jock and stuff
Yeah.
now, isn't he? So he probably get to have a bit of fun. He was the wise ass.
Yeah.
It was Finn Wolfhard's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's
with the
right.
glasses.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, key to this really is cast because I mean, you know, the 1990 version of it is kind of notorious for having a much weaker second half.
right, yeah.
So there is that.
John
whole thing
Ritter.
around
Have
it,
you seen
know?
Have you seen the oldest, Dave, producer Dave? Yeah. The oldest where they kick the spider to death.
I haven't actually seen.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I know,
it's
it's
so
awful.
bad.
So
Yeah.
bad. John Ritter as well.
God bless John Ritter though.
Christ. Yeah.
Got the
Oh,
Three's
John
Company
Ritter.
theme music in my head now. What else you have for us,
Someone
Steve?
knock on our door.
Okay, so following on from our Star Wars news. Oh, actually, I'll throw this in really quick for Mike. We had a teeny tiny bit of John Wick news. It has officially got its release date of 17th of May 2019, and it also has a working title. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Is it John Wick 3?
John Wick 3 Parabellum.
What does it mean? What do I want to know?
Parabellum. I know what parabellum means.
Of course you do.
I do, yeah. It's to do with the bullet. It's a bullet, a 9mm parabellum. It's the most common bullet in the world. Yeah. But also as well, parabellum is Latin, and it means prepare for war.
Double entendre.
How is he?
How do you like
How
that?
like
huh?
Brian Lloyd
How
dropping,
do you like
Brian
that?
Lloyd dropping knowledge like he's
How do you like
Wikipedia.
that?
Like he's Wikipedia.
There you go.
I
you go.
really appreciate that. Thanks very much.
Yes.
Stop saying everything's teeny tiny. No, it's not. That's significant news also. What else do you have?
Okay, so following on from, we were just talking about Star Wars earlier, so the Obi-Wan Kenobi spin-off rumors continue. So there's been no official word whatsoever on future spin-offs.
I nearly fell asleep on the mic there.
Yeah.
I was like,
But here's what we have, and it comes from a TMZ report, which is from an alleged production bulletin. So Stephen Daldry, who did The Hours, he did Billy Elliot, he did a number of episodes on Netflix's The Crown, is supposedly the director who's going to take on
Makes
Obi-Wan.
sense.
Yeah, good, solid
Seen
choice, I
working with
think.
McGregor.
But there's nothing confirmed in terms of casting, which includes there's nothing confirmed about Ewan McGregor, who has, of course, expressed interest a number of times.
Of course he has.
He's talking about it all the feckin' time.
Literally put him in front of a camera and he's just like, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yeah, I'd totally do that again.
Yeah.
100% do that again.
Essentially, yes.
Weakest season of Fargo we started. Still a good season, but the weakest season.
Yeah,
I know.
for sure, yeah.
And we also have a synopsis via this bulletin, which says that
This-
Obi-Wan...
This isn't even. I don't know what's going to happen. Sorry, sorry for interrupting you. But
this is all from the TMZ report. So the synopsis reads: Obi-Wan comes out of hiding after tensions run high between local farmers on Tatooine. So return to Tatooine. Fans love that shit. And the Sand People and a brutal war chief. Also, he can protect a young Luke Skywalker from them. So previously, Sam Esmail.
Mr. Robot. He's super smart.
Yeah, he's been rumored to be penning the script, but that was a rumor before, and the TMZ report doesn't confirm or deny that. There's just no
anytime you
mention
say
of him.
TMZ, you have to say allegedly. Anytime TMZ, allegedly.
Well, to be fair,
Well, with most things,
fair,
you
they
have
are.
to
they are
allegedly.
normally I would be just as dubious as anybody else about TMZ.
Sam
but
Ismail though is super smart.
Yeah.
There's some moments, and I stopped watching Mr. Robot a couple of episodes into the third season, but I watched the first two seasons. Maybe because of like a couple of the characters just thought were great. Like I love Angela's character, and she's kind of a peripheral character. What's Portia Doubleday her name is?
Yeah.
And I just think she's a great actress, and I love what's his name? Rami Malek. I just think he's great, and I was delighted to see him win the Emmy. But the writing, he directed every episode then I think going forward, and it's got a very specific vibe to it.
Yeah.
It makes it's very 70s kind of like.
I'm all over it. It's real 70s paranoid.
So that's really interesting. Now, if he's involved, I'm in, because I was falling asleep.
It could be
with
like
the whole
taking the
Obi-Wan
kind of
Kenobi movie. I was
risks
like,
that we've been talking about that Star Wars.
or you'll get sacked
sorely
halfway
needs.
through.
Yeah,
And they'll be like,
there's
no,
that too.
you have a vision. Get out of here.
And then the other thing that's kind of preventing confirmation for Stephen Daldry is the fact that he is reported to be doing the live action version of Wicked. And shooting wise, like those schedules could easily conflict. And I mean, they're two kind of huge projects.
Years pre-production.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see. Actually, I'm worried about, speaking of which, I'm worried about David Leitch because he's done Deadpool 2. It's incredibly well reviewed, made loads of money. He's going to do a Fast and Furious spin-off. Is he going to come back for Deadpool 3?
Well, we don't know if there is going to be a Deadpool 3. Like, yeah, but Ryan Reynolds is saying that he's not really interested in doing it because he was saying that you can't really bring up the stakes any more than you do for Deadpool 2, and anyone who's kind of seen it will know that. And he's kind of been...
But it's plainly a franchise as well, though.
But at the same time, you can see that he's very clearly trying to lead the conversation to the X-Force movies. And in that, I think that it could work and he could continue as a character. You know, I mean, he could still be the lead, but in the X-Force movies.
Ryan Reynolds is just like, I'm just going to turn up here for, like, instead of 4 or 5 months production, turn up for 1.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they could have the X-Force movies and him still be a lead, but I still like the idea that they're turning it into a team, and with that ending to Deadpool 2 and everything, they've got solid characters going forward.
It's like Josh Brolin, like, just alone Cable is fantastic. Like,
it's an interesting character.
They've got a world they can expand on there, definitely.
Like,
and the post-credit sequence that we're not going to go into, but good Lord, do another one. Do some more stuff for that. We really want to see it. You had one more story, Dee?
Yeah, so trailer news, because I always like to...
You just repping it a bit of trailer park.
I like a bit of trailers. So here is a clip from the Happy Time Murders.
Looks like a robbery gone wrong to me.
This wasn't a robbery, this was a hit. What the? Someone out there is killing puppets.
Hey, handsome.
You looking for some rotten cotton?
I'm a woman. That's okay.
Yeah, that's even better.
Got a good time for you.
This looks absolutely mental.
I can't.
Did you guys get to watch the trailer from it? Okay, cool.
Christ. Like, I can't even process. I'm in, but like, I'm just sort of like...
It's effing bonkers. I loved it.
I just like, I'm like, is this real? Like, what, the silly string thing?
I love that Melissa McCarthy did it. I love that Melissa McCarthy has done this.
I think she's going to be brilliant in it.
I can't process it. Like, this is the guy who did like Muppet Christmas Carol,
Muppet Treasure Island. He was a producer on Labyrinth.
Yeah, like he just... Yeah, like Brian Henson, like he's like the son of
Jim Henson.
Yeah, like the son of Jim Henson, like.
It reminded me a little bit tonally of Sausage Party.
Yeah,
like,
Sausage Party
years ago was really good
like
fun.
It's that irreverent.
Like, really? How are they?
How are they getting away with this? Like, how are you doing this? With this.
When do you have any idea when this one was going to come out?
So I think it's supposed to be out here in like August or something.
That's a good time when they got their own Sausage Party.
I think that it is, but it is getting an Irish release anyway for sure.
Deadly.
So it's exciting. So essentially, story-wise, in case you didn't get it from the trailer, it's a world where humans and Muppets coexist. And it's Muppets' first R-rated movie, and it's definitely R-rated. I mean, you can see the language, drug abuse, sex, like they just throw everything in there. You're totally in the deep end. But story-wise, it follows a disgraced ex-cop and his former partner, who is played by Melissa McCarthy, as they try to find a serial killer who is targeting the cast members of the 1980s television series The Happy Time Gang. There's definitely going to be some Sesame Street parodies in there.
To the trailer where... and like, watch it in full if you can't watch it in full. But in the trailer where they're getting murdered and it's just like fluff exploding. They get shot.
It's so funny.
Like,
it's so bold.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I first heard about this, it was like, oh, you're just doing Who Framed Roger Rabbit? No, it's not.
No,
not even close.
This is like early Peter Jackson stuff.
This is like
Meet the Feebles. Yeah,
Jesus, this is like Felix the House Cat kind of stuff. Like, it's really like holy. I can't believe you're going with this with it.
Yeah, it's like Team America, but to an even bigger extreme.
Well,
they had
a massive problem with Team America, didn't they? With some of the sex scenes between the puppets, they were made cutloads of stuff. They actually were.
So that's like a sanitized version.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. So what we saw, I'm just thinking of Team America now. We've got that sex scene going on.
Oh my God! You know, I actually.
Promise me you'll never die.
I watched that with my friend and her younger siblings, and didn't her ma walk in during that scene? I swear to God, we were mortified.
I think that's it. I think that's a funny one we should put out maybe on not the film show on Twitter, Brian. It might be a good one to put out where. What's the most awkward scene you've had to watch your parents on?
Oh, yeah. A good one. Yeah. What's the most awkward scene your parents have walked in on? Because I think that there are like so many stories about that. Like definitely the Love Actually scene with Martin Freeman and
we watch that
they
show.
They always walk in at that moment, don't they? They do it on purpose.
Watch that show, the one with Michael C. Hall on Netflix. It just started. It's Safe. You've been watching. It's called Safe.
say.
Watching an
I've
episode,
heard
I was
of
like,
it,
an episode in, I was like, nah, Mum, but my mom kept watching it. But my nephew is 17, so the three of us were watching it, and just as sexy. And I was like, I literally took I was like, I'm out, and just left the room.
No, yeah.
I was like, this is awkward
Too
on
much.
different layers. It's awkward and different. I'm out of here, but I think we should put that out and see what.
Yeah,
because they always get a good response, Brian.
They do, yeah. I won't tell what my story is. It's too bad.
If you think it's too bad, let's move on.
Yeah, please.
Although, do you know what? Before we move on,
You can say it on Twitter.
say it on Twitter.
I'll do it later. Yeah.
Before we move on to the revisit this week, your sack is empty this week. I'm assuming you didn't get any letters.
Yeah, the sack was unfortunately empty this
But
week.
we are recording a little earlier this week in
fair,
defense.
yeah.
So sorry if my stories are old by the time this goes out, by the way. Sorry. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi movie confirmed.
Yeah. God, I really hope that doesn't happen between now and then. I don't think it will.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, my sack is sadly empty this week.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, we're recording this really early in the week.
Do you think you need a more attractive sack for people to mail it?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's the kind of thing of I see Dave O'Regan kind of doing it. Dave O'Regan.
Dave O'Regan, producer Dave is our moral compass. We just look at his face and he's like, meh.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You are now.
Here's what I'll do, right? Here's actually what I'll do. Here's one for you, right? For next week's show.
He's got a little twinkle in his eye there.
I got an idea. For next week's show, if you email Brian, BRIN, at entertainment.ie with a question.
BRIN.
Yeah. We will answer it. It's Q&A. You can literally ask us anything and we will answer it.
This reminds me of that terrible horror movie I saw a few weeks ago, Truth or Dare.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
Oh, we're going to get killed now, Brian.
No, we won't.
Dave will go first because he's the producer. Sorry, Dave.
No, it's grand. We'll do, literally you can ask us anything at all and we'll answer it. There you go.
I'm not answering anything or all of you.
Well, it's depending.
Within the limit. Okay, fine.
Okay,
within limit. Within the limit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you're trying to get emails in and I'm just
and you're just ripping me down.
I'm not talking
I'm not
about
doing
Yeah, but
that.
in fairness, we didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
He just kind of
we're
threw
agreeing.
us in the
You're agreeing to it now. By saying nothing, you've agreed. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you've agreed.
Okay, let's talk to revisits. And to be fair to Deirdre Malumbi, you watch everything. You've
do.
watched
I do
every
watch
season.
everything. And I was watching 13 Reasons Why Season 2 so I could do a review, which is on site.
Nice.
I've got to stop self-plugging.
No, I mean, this is...
Self-plug? Oh my God, I just heard that. I just heard that. Why did I not? Oh my God. What, I heard that and then I didn't want to say it and then you said it and then you did the thing.
It's when I'm in Guy's company, and that's why I picked Happy Time Murders.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, the film is... The revisit this week, you absolute scumbags. What? Look what you've done to her.
I didn't do this.
You're a bad influence.
I didn't do this.
You're a bad influence.
You're giving me... I tell you, get a grip because you're just
51
as
minutes.
culpable with this. You're
What are we at?
51
minutes. That's when so around the 50-minute mark is when it gets really like.
I was saying that's when you started making fun of him, so you went really long.
Went long.
That's not making fun. That was an observation. Okay, so the movie we were going to talk about in the revisit this
Didn't know
week
what to count.
is one of the best, one of the best journalism movie, newspaper movie, crime movie.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah, it's because we talked about Spotlight last week, and for me, and Dee hasn't seen Zodiac, but how Spotlight pales in comparison to Zodiac for me.
Yeah.
It's David Fincher's opus for me. Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Graysmith. I'd read the book beforehand, but one of those rare occasions, and it's quite a dense book with stats and Robert Graysmith's trying to basically make a case for this person being the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
It's also features the probably I think one of the most disturbing murder scenes I've ever seen, because it's just plainly realistic. It just happens, and like Fincher just places the camera, and you're like, oh my God, this is happening, and you can hear it. It's horrible.
Have you watched the behind the scenes for it?
Yeah.
The bit where he talks about this. For anyone who doesn't know this, right? David Fincher actually went through Robert Graysmith's files and actually did kind of
doesn't mess around. Fincher, does he?
He doesn't. No, geez, no. But he does this. He kind of basically retraced the investigation of it, right? And he actually brought the guy from that scene. He survived, and this is in the film. And he actually brought him out to the scene where it happened. And they were kind of like going through the files, like, okay, so they found your body here, and they were going through the thing. And then Fincher apparently stopped and said, "No, hang on a second. This didn't happen here. It happened over there." And the guy was like, Jesus, he's right. How did he know that? Like he actually
Fincher's the Zodiac.
No, but you know, Fincher was that like clued in and that kind of in depth with it that he even was able to kind of contradict the official.
He did
police
so much research. He did so much.
He knew that much about the case that he was able to contradict what was on the oak, and the victim of the crime agreed with him. One of the victims who survived.
The woman that was killed.
Yeah, the woman was killed and he survived. Yeah, but it's yeah, that scene, Christ, I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing Zodiac in the cinema, and that scene floored me.
Yeah,
like you just, and even watching it back, like it's so disturbing.
It's the like reality in some respects of like murder.
The
of
screaming
really horrible,
of it, the screaming gets me.
It's just, but overall, as a film, it's quite a long film. It's 2.5 hours long, I think.
It's 2 hours 40.
2 hours 40.
I know because I looked it up and I was like, how the hell am I going to
He was like, I don't like my job
into my
that
weekend?
much.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like it takes. You've got Mark Ruffalo, Anthony Edwards,
brilliant.
Jake Gyllenhaal is essentially the lead. Robert Downey Jr. You almost forget he's in that as well because he disappears into the role a lot too. I think it was a post Iron Man. It was just around the same time as Iron Man.
Around the same time, I think.
It's a masterpiece. Like people throw that word around, but it is a masterpiece.
100%. Like I think the performances by everyone is so note perfect. Like you look like the way that Mark Ruffalo does it.
Yeah.
And like Mark Ruffalo, I think he's one of these actors. I think that unless he is suitably engaged and kind of in the role, he can just be sort of like, you can kind of with it. Like.
I'm just going to go on my easy laid back charm.
Exactly. But in this,
you get Foxcatcher, you get this, he's working like a man in Collateral, you get him with a director who's giving him a proper...
Exactly. And you can see that he cares about it and he's doing it right. And like as Dave Toschi, he really got that character down. Like, and again, from watching, because like this is... You'll like this too. I had this on DVD and I watched all the...
DVD?
I had this, years ago.
I was walking into like... Again, I was walking, taking a shortcut through like Euro World, and I was like, well, I sent that. I was going to send a picture. It's like, oh my God, look, DVDs.
€2. But yeah, no, on the special features for this, they had an interview with Dave Toschi, like, and him and Mark Ruffalo talking about, the role.
Him and Grace are still friends as well.
Yeah. And like, but this is it. Like, you can see that you can see how closely Ruffalo got into character, that kind of way, that he was really that in depth with it. And the same with Grace Smith. And
Steve McQueen's character in Bullet was...
that's right, it was based on him.
McQueen took a lot of stuff with the gun, how he holstered his gun and stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, yeah. And even with Dirty Harry as well. I love the fact that they referenced Dirty Harry in this, in the sense that, like...
As Dirty Harry's reference in the Zodiac.
Exactly, yeah. And how it was kind of a circular thing. Like, I thought it was really smart. Like, and even just in the sense of, like, the fact that you can create these stories, like what I always thought Zodiac was about, in the same way Heat was about, two guys trying to figure out what it costs to be the best. What I felt Zodiac was about was the search for truth, as in the sense of like, I've got to know who this person is, and I don't care what it's going to cost. I've got to find out. I've got to look the Zodiac right. Because remember that scene when he's talking to Chloe Savini, and she's like, why do you care about this?
He gets obsessed,
Yeah, she's like, why do you care about this? And he's all like, I've just got to look him in the eye. I've got to look him in the eye and know who he is. I can't stop until this happens. And that brilliant ending scene when he walks into the paint shop and he just looks at him. And then you get it. Then you understand that this is the moment he wanted. And he doesn't even... And there's no big reveal and it's all like, I gotcha!
Yeah.
He's just like... It was you.
Because apparently Jake Gyllenhaal and Fincher didn't... I don't know if they didn't get on, but Gyllenhaal had some things to say after the film came out. And Mark Ruffalo kind of defended Fincher. He'd worked with like a man previously, Mark Ruffalo, so he knew the multiple take thing. And he was like, he said something like he would do it. He was doing a scene, and he was in a diner, and Fincher would like, you do whatever, 20, 30 takes, sometimes more. And then Fincher would come up to the scene and go, hang on. And he'd like, do that. And you go, okay, let's do it now. And he's like, he's thinking of the overall picture. He's thinking of every single detail. But it works for Jake Gyllenhaal as well in this, because he's like this Boy Scout, just this kind of nerdy... Like, and that shows Gyllenhaal's range as well, that he can play a role like that and then go mix it up in like something like Prisoners, where he's like a hipster cop looking for a kidnap victim.
I love his whole costumes in Prisoners. I was like, I need to get that.
You like the haircut?
The haircut.
Oh, hipster.
Yeah, totally, yeah. But like there was a scene in the special features in Zodiac, and you should really check them out because they're brilliant.
If you can go back to 2009 and find it.
If you can find them, but there's a scene.
These don't get me there. Like, what are you trying to say?
But there's a scene in Zodiac when he's like putting down a piece of paper in his car, and like David Fincher made him do it 42 times, and like because they were literally like. he was like, you could see him doing the thing, and he was like, how fucking many more times can I do this?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? And the behind the scenes camera guy says, just out of curiosity, how many takes are we on? And he's all like, this is take 43. Okay, do it again. Throws the papers on the ground. Like, how many times? It's that, like...
He did that with, apparently, and it's speaking of DVD,
Fight
Fight Club, he did it with Ed Norton's character throws himself down the stairs. Spoiler alert. He throws himself down the stairs, and like Fincher's like, made this something and do it like 8 times. And he goes, which one did you use? The first one.
Yeah.
But that's why he's great.
Yeah.
That's why he's David Fincher. That's why he's probably... Could you argue David Fincher been the best director working today in terms of quality of output?
Yeah, one of the best. And like, again, I think the question of obsession is something that is looked at in Zodiac, and that's something that David Fincher has himself, that he does become obsessive.
Even look at his music videos. He was an incredible music video director.
Yeah,
like he in terms of like he started with Billy Idol in like the 80s, and he's directed some absolute belters over the year as well.
Do you know the song "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off" by Jermaine Stewart?
Yeah.
David Fincher directed music video.
Wow.
There you go.
If you're going to pick a David Fincher video that you were going to point out, I thought it would have been something like that, to be honest.
Well, no, I mean, I could have gone. I could have said like 9 Inch Nails and Only the bit with the spike things coming out. Like he did a lot of
Mark Romanek did a bunch of stuff for them as well.
That's right.
But a great director. I'm sure we'll put it out there anyway. I think the most disturbing scenes you've watched with parents are the most awkward.
Yeah,
I think you'll get some interesting content for that. So if you're watching this now, do let us know. Also, what will be a handy way for people to watch your Star Wars interviews, I think, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not listening to it, sorry, go check out YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, scroll down. Brian's interviews will be just a couple of videos back, and you can watch them. Did you get on well with everybody?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
good. Okay, I'm just asking.
All right. Yeah, I did. Like, I didn't freak out. Like, in fact, actually, I talked to Amelia Clark. This is so name droppy. I'm not being a name droppy. This happened. I told her this happened, but it did.
So I said to Amelia, "Look,
no, it wasn't like that because I
don't care about your.
I nearly life. No, actually no. No, but you're on the right track because
so
I was
dragons. Let's delve.
No, I was like, I said like, I'm not gonna curse in front of you, like, because I got in trouble the last time I cursed in front of somebody. She was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I cursed in front of John Krasinski. She's like, you weren't doing it in a bad way though. You were doing it in a jovial way. And I was like, oh no, I really was. Like, she's like, oh, that's grand. You can curse in front of me. It's fine. I was like, thank you, but.
You charmer, huh? Charmer the movie stars, huh?
You'll see it on the thing, I know.
Yeah, bring it up, bring a bit of that charm in here for the next show, maybe. Okay, that's it for this week's show. Please like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please like. If you want to comment, if you have something nice to say something nice. Sure. If you want to give us some stick, that's fine. I can take it. Some of us can't. I'm only joking, Brian.
Don't touch me.
I thought it'd end strong this week.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you could be making videos taking the piss out of me all the time, and I don't know about it. Do you know what I mean?
I'm really not.
Maybe just saw that one because you really committed to it.
I did. I thought it was good. I thought I'd give a real kind of Brando-esque performance. Like, really went into it. Like, yeah. Anyway,
if you've made it to the end, we salute you. Shout out to Charlotte Reed, who does all the visual stuff for us, and shout out to producer Dave O'Regan for putting it together for us audio-wise. So it was your fault the sound dropped last week, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. How about that? Actually, what's the
story?
Like?
What happened there this week? Like,
yeah. Excuses.
You can't see it. We might actually tweet out a picture. You can't see it, but Dave's like got his mad desk and he's got his white. You've got to think for white headphones as well. It's very strange. They go with everything.
Fair point.
That is a deadpan cork, man, if ever I heard of it. That is it for this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll chat to you next week.